Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another Supatease video. And with this one, we will be covering the Restoration Shaman. And should you or should you not main this specialization for the next expansion, Dragonflight? Now, I've got to give you a bit of a warning here. Shaman in general is a very dangerous class to pick as a main in World of Warcraft, regardless of content that you are involved with, be it raiding, Mythic Plus, or PvP. It seems to be a very disgruntled group and targeted quite a lot for nerfs in the most recent patches. And at the moment for Restoration Shaman, I'd say that you're struggling, at least definitely in a PvP environment. One of the main reasons for this is that most of your ability to heal is based on area of the ground. And every expansion, they've introduced a new class that tends to go zippity zippity zoodah day all over the map, everywhere, except inside of your totem where you need them to be so they don't lose the match for you. So their cooldowns being stationary is going to be a very problematic situation. In PvE, you still are going to be bringing the strengths of such cooldowns as the Spirit Link Totem. This is really powerful in raid environments. You still have a lot of upfront burst damage now with Stormkeeper. You have a ton of super fun and new abilities. I shouldn't say really new. You kind of yoinked them over from Elemental Shaman, but Thunderstorm for knockbacks, Lightning Lasso to access a more reliable single target stun, Stormkeeper to line up damage with Lightning Bolt, which does hit for a massive amount of damage. You're going to be rewarded if you're able to fish and find these opportunities to do damage with it. So definitely has the whole package for a class. I think at the moment, one of the main problems is just kind of tuning. It seems a lot more difficult to recover in situations where you've taken tremendous amounts of damage than in other patches. I don't know, maybe if it's been already like anticipatory nerfed because of the way Resto Shaman Mastery works, which is the lower health you are, the more healing you do. And they increased maximum health pools by a tremendous amount in PvP. So my first thought was, well, Resto Shaman healing should be a lot better. If people are spending more time at low health, then you're going to spend more time doing more healing. So I was actually expecting Restoration Shaman to be one of the most powerful healers, but based off what I've observed from other players, top level players, and from what I've experienced myself, is that Restoration Shaman is going to be a little bit of a struggle bus, but it is super fun. I really like the offensive capabilities of it, pushing in, landing aggressive totems for snares and roots, trying to keep enemies at bay, keeping them locked down with interrupts and grounding totems, focusing on disruption and offense. That type of playstyle I think is going to be rewarded, but it'll just be really difficult to pull off. So if that sounds attractive and appealing to you, then this is definitely a great class. You're going to be getting a lot more emphasis on your totems overall in this expansion with the introduction or reintroduction of pre-existing totems like Mana Spring Totem for PvE environment, Poison Cleansing Totem for scenarios when necessary, also the ability to project your totems, move them around to protect them and get them into more tactical positions, and the ability to rewind specific totems that you choose. Particularly powerful mechanic when utilized with the Earthen Wall Totem. You'll be able to get an Earthen Wall Totem, reset, and get a second Earthen Wall Totem, whether you want to stack them together or elongate them one into the other. Trying to think about that cooldown management is definitely an extra layer of thought that has been applied to Restoration Shaman that I really enjoyed in terms of play style. You've still got cooldowns now like Nature's Swiftness for an immediate single target, or in some situations area of effect heal. There's a lot of different and diverse ranges of builds, whether you want to focus more on doing damage, lightning bolt focused damage builds, or you want to focus on being like a Riptide Shaman and trying to fish for proc ascendances. You want to go down the line of being a chain heal shaman and get massive area of effect healing going. You're going to have multiple different ways to customize your character to play through, and I've seen already some of those strategies start to bubble up from some players. Like when I was streaming these games yesterday, people were coming in like, you need to try this build, you need to try this build. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even think that was an option. I thought this might have been the only way to play it, and I think that that's more and more going to start to happen for a lot of other classes, which is really awesome. But it's definitely here and present for Restoration Shaman. It's a healer that will be rewarded heavily if you're just nailing interrupts, nailing groundings, out positioning your opponents, but will be equally so punished if you overstay your boundaries, overstep, go into a bad position, make a wrong timing on a dispel. You're going to have a pretty tough situation to be able to try and recover through. But honestly, I had a lot of fun with it. It reminded me a lot of the Legion Restoration Shaman, especially now that we can get access to mobility cooldowns like Gust of Wind if we choose to do so. That was one of my favorite abilities, just whoop, just hopping and jumping through the air. So a lot of abilities to check out, a lot of different playstyles, like me getting the killing blow here at the end of the game with the Stormkeeper, Lightning Bolt. I've been seeing 100,000 crits with that. Super fun ability. Zappy Boy role playing, for anybody that remembers Zappy Boy. Maybe the only positive element of Battle for Azeroth, jokingly, of course. But it's definitely really fun in terms of offense. Hopefully, we'll see some tuning adjustments to enable Restoration Shaman to become a more competitive option within the whole fold of the game. But I really like how they merged in current modern Restoration Shaman with older elements of Restoration Shaman. It's one of the specializations that I think benefited the most from that approach, and trying to go back into like, what did classic WoW show could be available to the game, and then applying those lessons to the current modern version of the class. It's one of the biggest benefactors of that overall. So if you want to have like what could be an amazing Restoration Shaman experience, barring tuning, because it is a bit of a struggle. Like, I got a lobby here that doesn't have any demon hunters in it. Imagine if we had a demon hunter, it would be a bit of a bit of a different story. Maybe some Death Knights or some Fury Warriors. You're gonna have to, I guess, one of the things that you're gonna need to be ready for if you choose to go down this route and you decide to pick a Restoration Shaman, is that people will attack you. Whether it be in the comments after a game, it's your fault, healer, or it's in the game where they're physically attacking you and going after you constantly in a match. You're going to have to deal with that. Train the Blue is a strategy that has stood the test of time. There's a lot of guarantees in life. You got taxes, you got death, you got inflation, and you got Train the Blue. Okay. Train the Blue is just something that you're going to have to deal with. Something that I experienced when I was playing the Restoration Shaman, or I'd seen almost any specialization of Shaman. It's not a choice, it's a way of life. You were going to have to embrace this with the identity of a shaman should you decide to take this route. The good news is with ranked solo queue, even if you are an underperforming healer, just throughput wise with other healers, you got solo queue. You can make them play with you. And then if you can find a way to make it work, you're going to be an absolute legend. But I do see a lot of Restoration Shamans starting to shift over out in a way and more towards the Evoker, the Preservation Evoker, from what I've been able to see so far and observe. So definitely want to be relaying you some honest feedback for the specialization. I think mechanically and fun-wise, this is a super awesome specialization to check out, and it really just needs a little bit of tuning to start to trim it up into a position where it's going to be a phenomenal specialization. But other than that, I hope that you've enjoyed this video, gotten something out of it, maybe a couple of chuckles, and maybe helped you in your decision-making process for what class or specialization you're looking forward to checking out in the next expansion, Dragonflight. Let me know in the comments down below what's going on in your brain. What classes are you thinking about? Is it too much of a challenge for you? Because the game is coming out literally today as this video is being produced. So thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.